I'm Giles Cosgrove, and we are back at UH Racing for part 2 of the 4th edition of the Formula Student Online podcast. Right, chaps, what are we up to?
Not much about boring stuff at the moment. We're working on a brackets list to know where the brackets are positioned on the car based off their COG values. So we take each bracket in reference to a point of the car and then note down their values so that the person then who's jigging them up knows exactly where they are on the car to be welded.
COG being centre of gravity.
Centre of gravity. So centre of gravity for the X, Y and Z positions for each bracket, and I note them down on this sheet so then the head of chassis can then put them on the car and he knows exactly where they are and they're welded correctly.
And are you designing the brackets?
Yes, I'm designing a brake light bracket at the moment to make it a bit more reinforced. They keep bending and breaking at the moment, so I'm just trying to make it more rigid, FEAing it, testing it, seeing how it bends.
So FEA is finite element analysis.
Yes.
What does that involve and how is that helpful to you when you're designing something?
So we apply holding points on the bottom to see where it's going to be welded. You tell it where the forces come through and it will generate how it will bend. You tell it the material so it's more accurate. Sort of base that off how the redesign.
So you can virtually rig it up as though it were a real component and figure out how it's going to behave without ever having to manufacture it.
Yes.
Saves time, effort and energy?
Very much so. Yeah, a lot less manufacturing and prototyping needed. It's very helpful.
Fantastic stuff. So it goes from the spreadsheet into the design and then eventually onto the chassis.
Onto the chassis welded, yeah. Spot on. Perfect.
So on the subject of brackets, here's one they made earlier. You can see how thin that is. It's been water jet cut from mild steel. And it might be the unsexy side of engineering spreadsheets and finite element analysis. But at the end of the day, this is an intrinsic component to the car. Because if this fails, something falls off the car and that's their endurance run finished. We're standing in front of one of the old chassis. I've got some of the experts here from UH Racing. And you can see here the push rod actuated front suspension. I did suspension in my final year of Formula Student. I get excited about it. It's a very, very involved design setup. Talk us through this. How does this all work?
So essentially we've got a decoupled roll and heave system on the front. Essentially each spring and damper controls the roll. One controls the roll behaviour and the other controls the heave behaviour of the car. And it allows us for more tunability on the front suspension setup.
So roll is from left to right and heave is up and down.
Yeah, that's correct.
Fantastic stuff. And it's all it's all attached to the chassis. So what sort of chassis have we got here?
So we got a tubeless basement chassis. We use this option because we got loads of experience at UH Racing. We've been designing tubeless basement chassis for a long time. They are slightly heavier than monocoque and less stiffer, but in-house manufacturability is better than monocoques for our point of view. And yeah.
So you've got the tubular space frame, so you can see some of these tubes here, and this is the roll bar, and it all comes into the chassis. But then you've got these body panels. Are these body panels welded on then, or are they stuck on? How are these body panels?
We've got two types of body panels. So these in the middle, they are fiberglass composite. We just bonded on the chassis. And for the front, these are, is it fabric?
It's a Dacron, it's an aerospace fabric. Yeah. Extra lightweight.
So bonded is a high-grade gluing.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. So this is an old chassis.
Yes, this is a UH27, so last year's car.
Last year's car. Is there a chance we could see this year's chassis?
Absolutely, yeah. We can give you a sneak peek.
Brilliant. So this is it. This is what you're going to be taking to Silverstone this year.
Yep, this is our new chassis for this year. We're in this lovely new space and the new welding bay, new welding table, and obviously our welder has made this happen.
Who is your welder?
It is Kev.
We got to give a big shout out to Kev, because welding is a real skill.
it might be worth talking through how welding works, because this is sort of welding called TIG welding that's been used here. So how does that all work?
So you've got tungsten and an inert gas that protects the heated area, and then you've got filler material, which is, you can see filling those gaps that we're leaving for him. It just joins two bits of metal together.
And that big fan isn't there just to look pretty, that's to extract all the gases coming off, all the heat and everything. That's actually there for safety reasons.
Yes, absolutely needed for health and safety.
So earlier on when we were outside looking at the previous chassis, this is it in naked form essentially. So these are all the joints that we're talking about here and here and here. And this is the roll group.
Yes.
And that's integral to safety, as evidenced last year.
Yes, absolutely. There to keep the drive safe.
And this is all brand new facilities, and you've got this fantastic table here, which means you're able to line up the chassis perfectly, which is often overlooked is the setup when it comes to getting your chassis assembled. How important is this to what's going to eventually end up at Silverstone?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this table's perfect, and we've got loads of parts to mount onto this, so we know that everything is square and at the right angle, and it's super important ensuring our chassis is like the one we designed in CAD. Otherwise, things aren't going to line up when we try and fit everything together, and it's not going to perform in the way that we.
So, I can't take my eyes off these. They're iconic. You've got 2 caterooms in your department. What university has caterooms?
Oh, well, what can I say? So I've been very fortunate here. So at the University of Hertfordshire, delighted to say, we've got not 1 but 2 caterooms. And so the idea is that I wanted our students to have some really good hands-on practical experience, because let's face it, these days I think it's more and more difficult for kids to get that hands-on practical experience, and so I really wanted the students to have the ability to be able to actually build their own car. And so what better than the iconic Caterham 7? And so this particular car, it's a 170S, it's their entry-level car, it comes in kit form, and so students have had the pleasure of being able to build this. We recently finished it, and I have to say it just looks absolutely amazing, and it's been fantastic. And the good news is that students were able to start it as well, and so it does work.
Who gets to drive it?
So that's a good question. So at the moment, this one, it's not going to be road legal. We've got some work to do just to get it running nice and smoothly, but then after that, as long as we can do a risk assessment for it, we can get the students out.
So this is what you want from your department.
I've got a great team, I have to say. So a very understanding head of department, dean of school, and also technical manager as well, because we can't do this without the help and support of our technical services team.
So that's really important to a successful Formula student team, is the support from all levels of the university.
That's it, yeah, absolutely. It can't just come from academic. It's really important to have the technicians and all the technical team on side as well, because they bring with them a wealth of experience and really good guidance for the students as well. So typically we've got our technical team who will lead the build lab, and so essentially they're supervising the students, but it's great to have on your timetable time to come down to the lab and help build a car.
These are classics, and they go back decades, and I grew up with these, and I graduated a few years ago. Something that's fairly new though is this test bench, because this is the cutting edge for UH racing. This is the test bed for your electric motors that you're using in the cars.
Yeah, so exactly that. So we've got an electric motor test bench now, and so we're actually able to go about testing a range of different types of electric motors. This has only just very recently arrived, and so it's got a very comprehensive data acquisition system. It logs in excess of 20,000 hertz, so we can get an awful lot of data out of it. So we're really excited to have this here, and again, that just helps support the teaching and learning that we're able to offer. And so we've gone from beautifully simple, this really clever design, to much more cutting edge. We've also got an electric vehicle as well. Not sure if I mentioned that.
You didn't.
So we've got a Model Y, and again, that's a laboratory on wheels. We've got data for every single journey. Every time we've charged it, we've got data. And so, think more of these cars as mobile laboratories.
So we're standing here with UH20, the 2017 entry from UH Racing, a classic car in the history of the team. for many, many reasons, yeah?
Yeah. As you can see, it's proudly displayed here at the University of Hertfordshire. So this car competed at FS UK, of course, FS Germany, and Formula Student Czech Republic, and was very successful across the 3 events. Formula Student UK, it was a recipient of the financial awards, which allowed it to put extra funding into a lot of the research and development that went into this car. Formula Student Czech Republic came second overall, including second in the custom manufacturing event. Very strong performance for the team, and also a really strong performance at FS Germany. This car, as with a few across our history, was victim of a fire at one of our events. Yep.
It's still here, though.
It is still here. So exact details will remain under wraps.
Really?
What it has resulted in, yeah.
What it resulted in was a fire, but what caused it? Who happened?
Pressing me here. Flames erupted.
From where?
The rear section of the chassis, but this gave rise to, as with any motorsport safety incident, a revision of the rules,
Right.
where an aperture, now known as the fire port, has to be included at the rear of your chassis, so that in case of an internal fire or a thermal incident, there is a safe port that allows a fire extinguisher or other extinguishing fluid to be placed directly to the source.
So what I'm hearing is it's your fault the rules were made harder.
It was the team's fault then, but safety always wins.
Absolutely.
Right?
In fact, it will do. If you haven't accounted for it, it will happen.
Yeah.
So obviously this is an internal combustion car compared to what's being worked on downstairs, which is EV. How does this differ compared to what is being worked on at the moment?
So, of course, this is a rear-wheel drive combustion vehicle, which means that our rear chassis subframe can be so much narrower than what we've currently got. This runs a Honda CBR 500 engine, commuter bike, but really good for Formula Student applications. It also has a Garrett mini turbo in it. But all that means essentially is there's a lot of power going to just our rear wheels. Now, of course, with our four-wheel drive electric vehicle that we're working on currently, when you get to the sharp end of competition and you're competing against teams in continental Europe like Stuttgart, Tallinn, Berlin, Munich, and so on and so forth, everyone has a four-wheel drive EV where they're able to extract maximum performance out of all four corners of the car.
Yeah.
This current car concept, or the car concept we see here, doesn't necessarily allow for that. So having a four-wheel drive EV was our preferred design choice to then be able to really compete at the sharp end. We just have to see that through as a reality now.
Yeah, I mean, you've clearly got the precedent there with the entrance into the foreign events and clearly came out from it very well indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an absolutely gorgeous car. And I'm just looking forward and hoping that you guys get out on track this year at Silverstone.
Yeah, we definitely will be there.
I'm like a kid in the candy store there, because this is brand new and this is sick. This is a wind tunnel, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's our brand new wind tunnel. It's not just automotive and motorsport that gets to use this. We've also got an aerospace degree, but also civil engineering will be using this tunnel as well. And so we've only just very recently acquired this. It's been custom made, just about squeezes into the room. We've got a 4 foot by 4 foot working section. We're just in the process of starting to make some new aero models to go in the tunnel. We've got a really nice sophisticated balance where we can actually yaw the models and also pitch models as well, so rotate them. So yeah, we're really excited to have this here, and so you can imagine that the Formula Car team have been designing a new wind tunnel to fit. So yeah, so it's a very welcome bit of hardware that we've got here within the school.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Look forward to bringing you back when it's up and running.
Yeah, I love when we're seeing it.
But
So, as some of you might know, I am one of the commentators on the Sim Racing series, so this is really exciting. A few days ago, Monty was in here. You might have seen having the time of his life. This is the Sim Suite at the University of Hertfordshire's Spectra building. How do the students use this facility? Because this is a fully actuated sim rig.
yeah, no, absolutely. So for a number of years now, we've been very fortunate to have a number of vehicle simulators. And so in this particular suite, we've got 6 static, and they're all connected to our venue management software. And so it allows us to run a variety of different formative labs where the students can come in. And so it might be from something basic where we'll do a bit of a handling test, for example. So having a car that we can run on a skid pad, where students will be able to run through a set of different changes, so they can experience limit handling behaviour, so whether it be understeer, oversteer, etc. But then on the other side as well, we also use it to capture, or to actually understand what it's like for the driver, actually understand their workload. And the beauty about the kit that we've got is that we're able to capture all of the students' data as well with that venue management software. So as soon as they've completed a lap here, that data will all be stored up to the cloud. And then when they take time out, they can literally pull out a tablet, phone or anything, and they'll be able to actually view all of their own data. But not only is it just their data, it's also the ability to be able to compare themselves against the best time that's been set on that car and track combination.
And those skills that they learn are directly translated into setting up the car for skid pad, acceleration, sprints, all of the above.
Yeah, we also run formative assignments. Actually, you've got to be able to actually, set up the car for this weekend.
Degree.
Oh yeah, no, very much so. These aren't, the formative student. Yeah, we'll make use of these as well. But certainly on the motorsport course as well, then students will get the experience to actually understand the effects of making changes to the setup of the car. So whether it be aerodynamic, but it could be other suspension.
On the subject of aerodynamics, it's not just automotive simulators we've got in here. We've got 2 flight simulators over here.
Yeah.
It's all on offer.
Yeah, no, it really is. So we've got an incredibly strong aerospace heritage, particularly being on the site of the former de Havilland aircraft factory. And so, so we're really proud of that. And so we've actually got even more flight simulators as well. So this is 2 of them, two big ones. There's another third one, which is just as big, plus another series of static simulators as well upstairs.
So even if the hands-on would be a bit difficult to attain, you can get an approximation through this that potentially others studying aerospace might not be able to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we can certainly test out flight dynamics of different aircraft, etc. And so, upload it, and the students can go about flying it. And in fact, just over the road, we've actually got some drones that are in action now, and that's been part of a level 5 module where the students have been working on the CDIO module, where they get to design something, get to build it, and they get to test it.
Design, make, and test.
Absolutely, it's what it's all about. So putting theory into practice.
Okay, so we're now stood on AstroTurf, and there's footballs involved, and what I've just done there is the absolute limit of my skills with a football. I'm completely out of my comfort zone here. Where are we?
Well, you find ourselves on our robot football pitch. So we have computer science as well within the school, and we've had a very successful team here. And so they've even featured in the World Cup final before now. So it's not just the England men's football team that you've got to rely on. So thankfully, we're here to help with that as well.
Hertfordshire coming through for England's football reputation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there's a bit of everything for everyone here, isn't there?
Yeah. This building is just full of specialist laboratory spaces. So it's a great, great place.
Thank you ever so much for hosting us, Howard. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really appreciate your time, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Well, that's all we've got time for on this edition of the Formula Student Online Podcast. Thank you ever so much to the University of Hertfordshire for having us, and thank you to you for watching. If you've got this far and you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications. We've got some really exciting stuff coming up on the Formula Student Online Podcast, so make sure you're subscribed, like the video if you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you very soon.